Like, look at this coronavirus. Like, day one on the internet, everything's about these dirty Asians who eat animals and stuff. The Jewish media control is trying to break up the family with their propaganda.
Why do you have so much hatred against us? Do I look to you like I'm not a human being? Like,
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out.
Get out!
How did the Jews
I'm gonna have a conversation with him because he's gonna have a reasonable conversation. So let's step to the side. Shalom, my name is Rudy Rochman. We're outside of the 2020 AIPAC Policy Conference, Hebrew year 5780. Our mission is to engage with the protesters outside, to break out of our echo chambers, and to either expose anti-Semitism or to create genuine, nuanced conversations in order to write a better future together. Let's see what we get. Yalla.
How did the Jews end up with so much power? What's his secret?
Not all Jews are successful. There are many Jews that live in poverty, including in Israel, including in America. So the idea that all Jews are successful is not true. But there are many Jews that are successful, and the reason why Jews tend to rise up in different societies is because they help one another. We have a fundamental part of our culture that we see each other as brothers and sisters, as family, because we descend from one family. We come from Judea, which is our homeland that we were kicked out of. We were all physically displaced, and that's how we try to help one another. Now, it's not always the case. Some Jews don't help one another. But that's, to answer your question, we try to stick together.
What he's saying is that the Jewish media control is trying to break up the family with their propaganda.
But I'm first of all, I'm totally against the breaking up any family. And you know, I hear this Jewish media thing all the time, but if you look in the media, there's constantly stuff against Israel. If you look in the media, as anti-Semitism happens, media. But like, how would it make sense that it's Jewish media if all that you hear, especially on left-wing media today, is all against Israel? Or there's anti-Semitism that happens and media sources refuse to report on it.
But NBC, CBS, ABC, Leslie Moonves, Google, Facebook, it's all Jewish owned. Like seriously, at one point, like I stopped looking into who controls Earth, and I just want to know your secrets.
So we don't control Earth. Do you know how many Jews are?
You do.
Do you know how many Jews are in the world, percentage-wise?
Am I educating you?
Oh no, but I have a question.
Are you really?
I have a question for you. How many Jews exist in this world, percentage-wise, in your opinion?
Well, supposedly not a lot, but I don't know. So many of my friends are Jewish.
If you had to give like a number, like percentage-wise.
I couldn't, because in my own life, I'm pretty sure I've been raised by Jews like most of my life. And
so why do you have so much hatred against us?
I don't have a hatred.
But when you say things like we control the media and we do this and we do that, that comes from deep pain.
That's not hate. That's Mark Zuckerberg
that's fine.
Is Jewish.
So that means that I've never met. I don't know anything about Mark Zuckerberg. What does that have to do with an entire people? So if I find a successful white man, as he was saying, that would mean all white people are responsible for the things that this person does? That's what you're doing to Jews.
Well, I mean, white people don't work together very well, but their empire doesn't exist because they don't work together.
Okay, so we don't have an empire. We believe in being free individuals wherever we live and to have our homeland and live in our homeland. And that's what we believe in. We don't believe in empires. That's actually a very Western concept to have empires.
Yeah.
The Jews never had an empire. In fact,
but right now, the Jewish leaders are in control of USA.
There's not do you think there's some sort of council going on where?
Yeah.
Yeah? You know, that's one of the oldest anti-Semitic tropes.
Deep in my life too.
That's one of the oldest anti-Semitic tropes that was created. Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you. Let me just finish the conversation. That's one of the oldest anti-Semitic tropes to try to, again, the way anti-Semitism has historically been spread is find the source of suffering of a community and blame it on the Jews. In a white society, the Jews are not allowed to participate in agrarianism. Agrarianism is the form of commerce done through trading with crops and cattle. That's how people would make business back in the day. Jews are not allowed to own land. What did the white society, the king and queen, force the Jews to do? To be money lenders, bankers, and tax collectors. Why? Because if the top is taxing the bottom, let's put the Jew in the middle as the people that collect those taxes, not even for them, for the king, but the face will be the Jew. And so that's historically how anti-Semitism has been spread. Find suffering, you might have real points of real issues that are happening, like media not being honest, media trying to push agendas, media trying to break up families and to polarize populations in order to control us. These are all real things that I agree with you that exist. But to put it on the Jews is, you know, a mindset that you've got into or you bought into that allows you to be played.
Well, I used to blame white people because we're told it's a white nation.
I don't think it's any specific nation.
Well,
I think
I'm not going to let white people
I think it's people
off
of
for
power.
what they've been doing.
I think it's, well, are you with him?
Yeah, kind of. I
So
mean, this is
he's
my
like,
first time
he's
bringing
fighting
him
for
out.
the white people, and you're.
Yeah,
I represent the white race. That I want you and your people out of all white nations now. Don't care about your fake Holocaust.
Yeah, well, I'm even ground, so I'm not. These are just the only people willing to talk about this stuff.
I mean, I'm willing to talk, and I appreciate you having you know, calm demeanor and being able to have a conversation, because if we scream above each other, I mean, what's the point? At the end of the day, we both exist. You know, history is huge, and we both exist in this small little time. We're both alive right now, and we have the ability to actually try to make the world a better place. And if we don't really come together and have conversations and try to deal with real issues, we're not getting anywhere, because more violence leads to more violence. What is that going to help anyone? So although I disagree with a lot of things that you say, and you of course disagree with a lot of things I say, that's fine. I appreciate the fact that you're willing to engage and speak in a way that we could actually at least listen to each other. Maybe not understand everything, maybe not agree with everything, but at the very least be able to hear one another.
Yeah, I try to be that way. Like I said, it was never really hate. I was, you know, I'm tired of white people always calling to, like, you know, kill these other people. Like look at this coronavirus. Like day one on the internet, everything's about these dirty Asians who eat animals and stuff, and it's just like they're being trained to hate all these other groups.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about specifically this, but I'll tell you that I think the media is very, you know, manipulative. They pursue their own agendas. They pursue the people who give the money to those medias. They want to, you know, just say things for their demographics, those that will watch the media and be able to sell advertisement to them. I don't think the media is honest at all. So I'll agree with you that there's deeper issues with the media that have to be dealt with, and the source of information should not be from there. But again, when you pin an entire suffering on one population, that are all human beings. Like, do I look to you like I'm not a human being? Like, do you
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out.
Do you
what
think
it
I'm
is.
not
And-
human?
And the only knowledge seems to come from the Jews and their leaders. I mean, like you said,
But
you
there are
work
many-
together,
Yeah.
and so you have like the kind of the oldest history, at least the oldest civilization that
One of them, yeah.
seems to be high up there on the ladder.
So because we've survived for so long and we tend to help each other and be successful, you know, when we're not being pushed down, that you think is why we are the ones causing all this pain?
No, just because if I name like the 8 people who control all the big media, it's all Jewish led.
But if you look at
Jewish
50
leaders.
and you find 8 out of 50, then it's like,
Well, there's only like, 12 main media outlets.
yeah, but on those, it's not one person that owns those media outlets. There's a few people, and if you specifically pick out the Jews and then you make like a theory that they own it, but you didn't include the entire context that there's many other people that own it. The Jews that are usually in positions of power, like you said, Mark Zuckerberg, is a very disconnected Jew. He's married with a non-Jew. He doesn't practice his own culture. He doesn't go to like his own community centers. He's very disconnected. He never takes. I don't think he's ever been to Israel. Definitely never talks about Israel. So he is a Jew. Like, you're not a Jew based on how much you practice or not. You're a Jew based on being a descendant from a people of Judea. But to show that this individual person has a successful company that has way too much control, right? Facebook knows everything about us, and that's a big problem. But how is he pursuing a Jewish agenda if he himself doesn't connect at all to the Jewish people?
I don't know. And my best guess is that he's marrying into the Asian culture. Kind of like how story of Esther went, Purim, how they marry into the leaders. When, I guess everyone kind of has done that throughout time.
Could it be that he just fell in love with an Asian girl?
It could be, yeah, but it's he seems to be and Jews in general seem to be logical business type people, and they don't do anything.
Love
for
is
just
definitely not
one
logical.
dumb
I'm sure you
reason.
fell in love a few times in your life, and love is definitely doesn't have so much logic in it.
Yeah.
But I think he fell in love with someone that I think he should be married with a Jew, because in our opinion we need to preserve our children's identity by raising them in a family that is able to pass down the values, the culture, the history, the identity. That's why it's so important for us. Not necessarily because the spouse needs to be Jewish, but more so the kids need to be Jewish. because we don't believe a Jew or a non-Jew is better or worse. You're better or worse based on your own values and your own actions, and every individual is responsible for that. However, for us, how do we survive if we don't pass down to our kids who they are? So that's why for Jews it's important to marry Jews, and not only Jews, like Jews that know who they are and that are strong. So it's very sad for me to see that he married someone that's not Jewish. But again, like I said, he's someone that's very disconnected from his Jewish identity. So even though he's one individual that is in a position of power that happens to be Jewish, he's not pushing any Jewish agenda because he himself is not even connected to the Jewish people. Politicians have the same agenda, and that's power. To use suffering that the population deals with and manipulate that suffering in order to convince people to fight each other, divide and conquer. And unfortunately, a lot of politicians, especially those on the extremes, end up using the Jews as part of that, as like, let's blame the Jews. The Jews are responsible for this, or the Jews are responsible for that. And that's how anti-Semitism has always happened. Like the death of Jesus, let's blame that on the Jews. Jesus was a Jew, and he was living in Judea, and the Roman Empire killed him, and yes, maybe one of his friends, where all of his friends were Jewish. One of them, because the Romans had threatened him, he told the location of where he was. That doesn't represent all Jewish people. Like, let's say you have a family member or a friend. Your friend goes and does something that's bad. Are you responsible for what that person did? Or is everyone in his ethnic background responsible for what that individual does? So to blame the death of Jesus on the Jews is another old anti-Semitic trope of finding the suffering of Christians where they feel that Jesus died. They feel it in their, because that's their savior in their opinion, and they feel the pain. And so to use that pain and to push it onto something is just a way to kind of shift someone's attention, instead of dealing with the problems that are on the top, to shift the attention on the Jews. And that's how the Jew has always been used in a white society. And still to this day. I think it's very dangerous when we use an individual's actions and pin them on others. It just allows for more hatred. And at the end of the day, we all want to live in a better world. Like, that's what we all want, because we all live in this world. And I think that the world itself is like an organism. And each one of us, as families or individuals or nations or whatever it is, we're all organisms of this body. And we need to start functioning together. And if we constantly fight each other, imagine an organ fighting another organ, the body dies. So I don't believe in spreading hate. I believe in finding ways to come together. I believe in making the world a better place, but we also need to step out of this, all this noise and smoke, and come down to reality and see one another and create human relations and figure out what are the real issues that are affecting us and how do we go about to change them. To go and say there's a problem, yeah, there might be a problem, but then blame it on an entire population. Not only does that not deal with the problem, that just causes more problems, because persecution and hatred and further.
Well, they're blaming what America does on white people pretty much, and like I'm saying, it's the Jewish leaders in positions of power.
Which Jewish leader?
Well, you've got so many. You've got TYT, you've got Democracy Now, Noam Chomsky.
TYT, the Young Turks?
Yeah, Alex Jones.
Alex Jones isn't Jewish.
His children are.
How is his children Jewish? I mean, he's said, I'm pretty sure, some pretty anti-Jewish things.
He did until he got rich. He also said we can't ever talk of that because I'll get removed from the air.
I mean, he would still be able to publicly air his opinion. I think if someone would be racist, they'd get removed from the air as well. I think any individual that would spread hate like that openly and not hiding it would get removed from there. I don't think it's a necessarily Jewish thing. That's you should support that. Like, if someone is going to be against the Jewish people, that they should be removed off the air, because a network would not want their network to be represented by them, regardless if it's against your family, my family, or anyone else's family. Those are good things. But you see how even that is no, it's because it's Jewish thing. If someone said all black people XYZ something bad, they would not work at any news station the next day. So it makes sense that if you were to continue saying things against Jews, that he'd be removed off the air.
Well, a lot of the media does have it really depends on the day, but it'll have anti-Arab or anti-Asian rhetoric or anti-white rhetoric, but you're never really allowed to talk of Jewish.
No, there's plenty of anti-Jewish rhetoric, and I fight against that. And I believe in a world reality where we can all find a better way to live together. So I'm sorry if you've had bad experiences with Jews, or if you've found some bad individuals, because there are plenty on all sides. But we have to spread more positivity, not more negativity.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out you know, what's going on in this world.
You should come travel to Israel, visit it for once.
Would they let me in?
Yeah.
I mean, they give you some crazy security checks, don't they?
Because it's a country that's with a lot of enemies. So I'd hope you one day go and see it for yourself. Like, there's a lot of people that will tell you from this side to this side, but the best eyes are your own eyes. So hopefully you'll be able to travel there one day and speak to the people there and see the reality there, and you know, then you'll make up your own mind. All right? Take care.
To stay up to date with JTV content, click subscribe here if you're on YouTube and hit the alarm bell. And if you're on Facebook, hit the like button, and under following, click see first. If you enjoy watching JTV content and want to help us continue to grow, please consider making a donation to us by clicking here.